Manchester City, the defending champions and league leaders, visited Tottenham Hotspur at the Etihad Stadium in the 26th game week of the 2021-22 EPL season. The match lived up to the hype surrounding the Conte-Pep tactical battle, with the Italians putting in one of their greatest performances of the season and claiming 3 points against their opponents. For the fans, it was a roller coaster ride, reminiscent of previous seasons' meetings between the two clubs, and featured some innovative tactical approaches and switches from both teams. This video provides a tactical analysis of the match and covers the tactics adopted by both teams, as well as how Antonio Conte managed to outclass Pep Guardiola. Let us begin with the analysis. Manchester City made 2 changes from the lineup that overcame Sporting midweek, with Riyad Mahrez and John Stones being replaced by Ilkay Gundogan and Kyle Walker. Meanwhile, Antonio Conte made 4 changes to the lineup that lost to Wolves, with Kulusevski starting for the first time in place of Lucas Moura, while Eric Dyer, Emerson Royal and Højbjerg replaced Davinson Sanchez, Matt Doherty and Harry Winks. Antonio Conte's reign at Tottenham Hotspur has been a mixed bag, with the Italian hints of strengthening the group with a proper tactical philosophy and blueprint, while there were performances that revealed the squad still needs time to acclimate to his needs. But it was evident from the start at Etihad that they were ready to implement the tactical strategy. Conte's sides have always been associated with rigid patterns of play and position that allow his players to break down high-pressing teams in a simpler manner. When they looked to play out from the back, the basic structure was a back 3 being changed to a back 4, with Ben Davies positioned in the left-back position and Sessegnon slightly higher than normal. This was similar to what he did with Inter Milan last year, as Perisic would place himself higher as the left wing back, making the shape slightly unbalanced than typical. The sequence begins with Lloris making a short pass to one of the defenders. This would mostly be the right-sided defender, where Spurs would aim to underload the side and drag City to that side before switching to the far side where they can overload. We can see it in this image, as City used a 4-2-3-1 formation to press and compress the spaces on the ball side. The disadvantage for City was that they had to position Sterling to mark Højbjerg, and Spurs' centre-backs and wing-backs were also quite wide, making it impossible for City to cover and press the entire backline. So the pass was wide open to the wide centre-back Ben Davies on the left side, and he receives it with Sessegnon ahead of him, making it 2v1 against any City player who decides to press them. Even if City committed a man to press Davies down that wing, Spurs would benefit, since the City player would be a bit late to press Davies, giving him more time to play a pass forward into the inside. This is how they got their first goal, where City got it partially correct by having Sterling press Davies and quickly shifting their block to the other wing, but it was still delayed enough for Davies to find the opportunity to pass it forward. Rodri was pulled down by Son, who made a run to drag Rodri from his position, into which Kane would drop and throw a first-time pass to Son, from which Spurs scored. Spurs kept repeating the same process of finding the free man on the left side while starting to build from the right side. When they received the ball, the players took good positions and were in excellent form, allowing them to play through the press with ease. It was very evident that Harry Kane was very central to them, then progressing the ball from the middle third to the final third. The Spurs striker was used consistently in possession, where he dropped deep and found spaces very well to take that and do the play-making duties for his team. Conte made good use of his ability to play a variety of passes with both feet. We can see him switching the ball to the opposite flank, where Tottenham looked to exploit the space. City struggled to deal with Spurs' relentless shifts across the flanks. Using a back 4, they did not have the coverage across the width of the pitch that led to them being overloaded on the far-sided wings numerous times. This was compounded with the full-backs energetically and intensely pushing the wing-backs, requiring the entire block to shift to cover the subsequent spaces. It wasn't going to be difficult to predict who would dominate possession and territory in the game, but the tactics employed by either club, as well as how Spurs respond to City's attack, were always going to be the talking points. City's 4-2-3-1 converted to a 3-1-6, with Walker tucking into the back 3 to provide more cover in the transition and Cancelo moving higher up to join the final line. Rodri was the lone midfielder forward of the defense. On the ball near side, one of the players from the last line will drop into the deeper half spaces to ensure progression and to keep an eye on counter-pressing Spurs if they lose the ball. Spurs opened with a 5-4-1 mid-block and quickly changed to a slightly lower block after grabbing the early lead. Throughout the game, Harry Kane held Rodri in his shadow, while the 4-man midfield line of wingers maintained narrow and central. When City had a back 3 in possession and the ball moved to one of the wide centre-backs, Walker or Laporte, the Spurs central midfielder would press him forward while the winger on that side tucked in to partially cover the space. This was done mostly to prevent players like KDB and Gundogan from creating from half spaces. We can see here how Spurs are preventing City from creating chances from their preferred zone on the pitch. If Son or Kulusevski had clicked the center-back button instead of Højbjerg or Bentancur, it would have left De Bruyne in the half space with no one to mark. Even if Son had chosen to press, leaving KDB in cover, Shadow City would have found him by playing it wide to Walker, who would now have the passing route open to KDB. This would have set off a chain reaction of reactionary decisions in which the center-back would have to step out to press KDB, creating gaps in the defense. It also ensured that Bentancur and Højbjerg did not have too much lateral distance between them. When Bentancur pushes forward to press, Kulusevski can stay close to the player in the half space. Despite this, City were able to locate Gundogan in the half space, where he would slide into the space that Bentancur vacated as he moved forward to press the center-back. City was able to approach the Spurs box a couple occasions because to Gundogan's presence in that area. City, on the other hand, elected to utilize it sparingly, which meant they couldn't truly challenge Spurs. Despite Spurs' plan being quite successful in stopping City, the reigning champions made numerous poor mistakes on the ball, particularly with player movements and communication. We can see here how they have made it easy for Spurs defenders to defend, by all three attackers making forward runs in behind the line at the same time, and neither of them dropping deep to take advantage of space in front of the dragged back defensive line. Overall, it was an exciting contest where Spurs finally managed to hang on to their advantage after allowing it to slip twice earlier in the game. Conte's tactical masterclass earned them 3 points and moved them 3 points behind Arsenal and 7 points behind Manchester United, despite having 3 games in hand over the latter. Meanwhile, City will be put under pressure for the first time in a long time, with the title race against rivals Liverpool still wide open. We've come to the end of our tactical analysis of the match between Conte's Spurs and Guardiola's Manchester City. This is Soccer 876. If you like this match analysis, please hit like and subscribe for more great videos like this. See you in the next video.